Donald Trump said something truly disturbing about one of Epstein's victims.
That's such old history, very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help, and I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that work for me.
Donald Trump está desesperado. No quiere que sigamos hablando del escándalo con Jeffrey Epstein. No quiere que hablemos del encubrimiento. Y peor aún, no quiere que te importe. La estrategia es simple. Decirnos que esto ya pasó. Que no tiene importancia, que hay que seguir adelante. Pero esa mentira, señores, acaba de explotar en 1000 pedazos. Y fue su propia fiscal general, Pam Bondi, la que detonó la bomba. Un documento judicial recién publicado no solo contradice las afirmaciones de Trump, sino que demuestra, con palabras del propio Departamento de Justicia, que el interés público en estos archivos es legítimo, es masivo y cada vez es más urgente. Antes de que lleguemos a ese bombazo, empecemos por la desesperación dentro de la Casa Blanca, detallada por el biógrafo de Trump, Michael Wolff.
In the White House, they believe that the story in the Wall Street Journal about the birthday greeting that Donald Trump, the salacious birthday greeting that Donald Trump sent Jeffrey Epstein in 2003 on the occasion of his 50th birthday was a leak from the Maxwell family. And in the White House, they regarded this as, quote, a shot across the bow. So a threat, you know, if that Ghislaine had damaging material on Donald Trump. So Donald Trump's lawyer, who, as it happens, is also the number 2 in the United States Justice Department, but principally is Donald Trump's own lawyer, went down, and I expect to try to figure out exactly what Ghislaine Maxwell has, and then they would figure out how they might have to handle that.
Señores, esta sería una razón perfectamente lógica para poder explicar por qué es que Trump envió no a su fiscal adjunto oficial, sino a Todd Blanche, su abogado personal, disfrazado de funcionario, para reunirse con Ghislaine Maxwell. Solo pensemos por un segundo, si de verdad quisieran que dejemos de hablar del caso Epstein, ¿para qué reunirse con ella? ¿Por qué abrir más preguntas? Claramente no se trata de cerrar el tema, sino de controlarlo, porque Trump sabe perfectamente que Maxwell aún guarda muchos secretos. Pero bueno, Trump quiere que tú pienses que todo esto es una farsa. Es una conspiración de los demócratas, un tema viejo, sin importancia. Es más, lo dejó muy claro en su último discurso. Pero Pam Bondi lo echó abajo por completo.
It's really great. The whole thing is a scam. It's a scam set up by the Democrats, and they love talking about it. But I would like to see people exposed that might be bad, and we'll see how that all works out. But it's getting to be very old news. You know, if they had anything, they would have done it the week before the election because they were losing by a lot. If they had anything, they would have done it. They controlled the file. The Democrats controlled it. Comey and all this, you know, sleazebags, every one of them that you read about all the time. And I guess they've got some problems now having to do with yet a different scandal, very big one. But they control that file. So I would think that if they would have had something in the file, they would have released it about a week before the election. Maybe 2 weeks, right, Brian?
Una vez más, Trump insiste en que esto no tiene que importarte, que no es relevante, que nadie quiere saber sobre esos documentos. Pero su fiscal general Pam Bondi, al parecer, no está de acuerdo y lo ha dejado escrito en un documento presentado ante la Corte de Manhattan. El documento, firmado por Bondi, por Blanche y por Jay Clayton, fiscal que Trump nominó por el Distrito Sur de Nueva York, solicita la publicación de las transcripciones del gran jurado en el caso Epstein. No solo eso, porque admite que el interés público sobre el caso ha crecido considerablemente, especialmente luego del informe del 6 de julio que resumía las conclusiones del gobierno sobre la investigación. La presentación judicial, textualmente, afirma que existe un abundante interés público en el trabajo investigado por el Departamento de Justicia y el FBI sobre estos crímenes. Es decir, todo lo contrario a lo que Trump ha estado diciendo. Además, informan que ya han contactado a todas las víctimas, excepto una, y que el gobierno va a tomar medidas para proteger su privacidad en caso de que se publiquen los archivos.
Not much to see there in the grand jury indictment or the grand jury files there, the transcripts. So what is the latest in the DOJ's attempt to get them released?
So the DOJ was asked by the judge to supplement their prior filing so that they could justify whether or not there are special circumstances that would allow for the release of grand jury transcripts. In that filing, as you just noted, DOJ revealing that in the Epstein case, there was a single grand jury witness, that person being an FBI agent. And the Maxwell case, that same FBI agent came back along with an NYPD officer who works in child exploitation. And those were the only grand jury witnesses. So this is shaping up to be what folks like Tom Winter, our national security correspondent, Christy Greenberg, an MSNBC legal analyst, and a former Southern District of New York prosecutor have long said it would be. Grand jury proceedings are necessarily streamlined. You don't put forward all the evidence you have. You put forward only what's necessary to indict the individuals at issue. And here, it seems like unsealing these grand jury transcripts will be far from the extensive, what I would call a show and tell, that the people who are demanding the Epstein files are asking for. There are no victims who have testified here. That doesn't mean that they don't have a stake here. And that's the other thing I find interesting about that filing, Ariel, is that not all of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell have been notified that they have an opportunity to have their say here. Instead, the Department of Justice representing to the court, they have notified only those victims whose names came up in the grand jury. That may be a very small universe of the more than 1,000 victims that DOJ has acknowledged to the public there were of these two child predators.
So not necessarily a nothing burger in those transcripts, but certainly not the trove that people might have been expecting. Peter,
Correct.
Sources in the White House seem to point to the Wall Street Journal reporting on the risque birthday letter as kind of a turning point for MAGA. Why is that?
Well, they hoped it would be. I mean, they wanted to be able to rally the base against a common enemy, the common enemy being the media. And in some ways that worked for a little while. There are certainly MAGA folks who took Trump's side in this and accused the Wall Street Journal of playing into enemy hands and so forth. Because the MAGA base that's interested in Epstein files aren't necessarily interested in embarrassing Trump. They're not necessarily convinced that Trump's name is in there. It's other people that they're looking for. It's other evidence of other billionaires, other elites, people like Bill Clinton or others who are known to be friends of Jeffrey Epstein. And it's not that they're trying to upstage Trump himself, but they're frustrated that Trump isn't cooperating in this desire of theirs to have all these files and all this information put out there.
Señores, este giro es importante, porque Pam Bondi, hasta hace poco, había sido una de las figuras más leales a Trump. Es más, incluso tuvo enfrentamientos con el director del FBI, con Kash Patel, y con el subdirector del FBI, con Dan Bongino, por el manejo del caso. Pero ahora su propia firma está en el documento que confirma que los archivos Epstein sí importan, que sí existe interés público y que sí tienen que salir a la luz. Por si esto fuese poco, Donald Trump sigue hundiéndose solo con sus propias palabras en estos intentos por querer justificar su relación con Epstein. Termina haciendo confesiones cada vez más perturbadoras. Y Chris Hedges lo explicó perfectamente. Escuchemos.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Now, there are a lot of reasons that this Epstein scandal is not going away for Donald Trump. One of them is this. He and his administration keep behaving every day like they have something to hide. I mean, Trump himself cannot keep his story straight about Jeffrey Epstein. And the more he talks about it, the worse it seems to get. In his attempt to spin another version of how he broke up with the late child sex trafficker, Donald Trump said something truly disturbing about one of Epstein's victims.
That's such old history, very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that work for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth.
So that was Trump yesterday at his Scotland golf resort, which, by the way, he's promoting flying there on the taxpayer dime, saying he stole people that worked for me. Did he really mean that? Today we learned the answer was yes.
People were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told them, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
That was audio that we got from Air Force One. We had only the audio. Spa or not spa, don't take my people. So Donald Trump now says that he ejected the world's most notorious trafficker and abuser of minor women and girls from his life because the guy kept stealing his spa workers. You split up the friendship 15 years because he was grooming and recruiting your staff to go abuse them, but you didn't do anything about it? It's a very strange thing to say. It's also a narrative that, like so much with Trump, has just this little kernel of truth buried inside it.
Virginia Roberts was working in the spa at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach when British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell introduced her to multimillionaire Jeffrey Epstein.
The training started immediately. I mean, it was everything down to how to give a blowjob, how to be quiet, be subservient, give Jeffrey what he wants.
That woman, who later changed her name to Virginia Giuffre, was 16 when she was indeed recruited from Mar-a-Lago by Maxwell, not Epstein. And after breaking free of Epstein, she became a really outspoken advocate for her fellow victims. She led them in multiple lawsuits. Giuffre died by suicide earlier this year. So was she who Trump was talking about?
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, that include Virginia Giuffre?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her.
Yep, he stole her. Definitely the worst thing that Jeffrey Epstein did was hire someone away from Donald Trump.
Donald Trump ha cambiado su historia tantas veces sobre por qué dejó de ser amigo de Epstein. Primero que lo encontró con algo raro, luego que no le gustaba el ambiente. Pero todo indica que no fue por ética, sino por celos de los negocios turbios. Según Chris Hayes, lo que en realidad molestó a Trump fue que Epstein le quitó a la famosa empleada, ¿no? Menor de edad. Y lo que lo indignó no fue el abuso, sino la pérdida del recurso. Amigos, esa es la mentalidad del presidente. Y eso es aterrador. Entonces, ¿qué tenemos? Tenemos a Trump desesperado por distraernos. Tenemos a su propia fiscal general reconociendo que los archivos tienen que salir a la luz. Y tenemos a un presidente que en lugar de limpiar su nombre, lo ensucia aún más cada vez que abre la boca. No es un escándalo del pasado, es algo que está ocurriendo en este momento. Muchísimas gracias por acompañarme hasta el final de este video. Recuerda, como siempre, dale like, comparte el contenido y suscríbete al canal. Nos vemos en el próximo video.